Well, Mika, good morning. It's going to be kind of a split-screen day here in the UK. On the one hand, you're going to have the President and the First Lady hosted by the royal family at Windsor Castle. That is going to be a day of pomp, circumstance, pageantry. And then here in central London, you're going to have a lot of politics. We are expecting thousands of British protesters to take to the streets of central London a little bit later today to make their displeasure at the President's presence in this country known. So it's going to be totally apolitical with the royal family and then extremely political here in London. Just in terms of what we're expecting, in the next couple of minutes, the President and the First Lady are scheduled to leave Winfield House, the American ambassador's residence, which is in Regent's Park here in London. They will fly to Windsor Castle, and that will basically be the end of their time in London. This whole trip is designed to keep the President outside of London, where there were very large protests during his first state visit back in 2019. Unlike previous presidents, including President Obama, President Clinton, President Reagan, President Trump has not been invited to address Parliament during his state visit. So today he will be, as you say, greeted first by the Prince and Princess of Wales and then hosted by the King at Windsor Castle. They're going to spend the day doing a number of sort of military ceremonies. President Trump will visit the crypt where the late Queen Elizabeth is buried. And then at the same time here, these protests are due to get underway around 9 a.m. Eastern. Protesters are expected to march down this main thoroughfare in central London. They will gather at Parliament. And guys, if the president thought he was leaving the Jeffrey Epstein scandal behind when he left Washington, he has another thing coming. A number of demonstrators actually projected images of the convicted sex offender along with the president on the walls of Windsor Castle last night. 4 people have been arrested for that. And I can tell you, actually, the main scandal roiling British politics right now is to do with Jeffrey Epstein. The British ambassador in Washington was fired last week after it emerged, one, that he had signed that same birthday book that President Trump is alleged to have signed. He denies that, of course. And 2, a number of pretty damning emails emerged between the ambassador and Jeffrey Epstein, who he knew before he took up his post. Now, British police say that they have not changed their security plans for President Trump's visit in response to the assassination of Charlie Kirk, but they are certainly very conscious of the heightened political tensions in the United States. They are very conscious that President Trump survived 2 assassination attempts last year. And so we are looking at what is going to be the biggest security operation in this country since the coronation of King Charles 2 years ago. Guys.
So, Raph, certainly President Trump has made no secret. He's excited about this trip, deems it a great honor, his words, to get the second state visit. But you're right, there are 2 potentially thorny issues on the agenda. White House aides preparing the president that they may come up. One, you hit it already, the Jeffrey Epstein matter. So tell us if there's going to be a moment here today, tomorrow, where the president, perhaps the prime minister, alongside, whether they would face questions from the press as a moment where something could be shouted about Epstein. But then secondly, is there a sense there from folks you're speaking to in London, is the prime minister going to use this moment to push President Trump on Ukraine? Because there's been growing anxiety in Europe that the U.S. has still really not offered much in the way of security guarantees. Trump has really still not put any meaningful pressure on Russia to end this conflict.